great.
So nice.
Didn't have the stickers on the outside there for PUBG Mobile, which we need. Taxi guy, fix it next time.
Or just give us a BYD.
There's always that.
Expensive gift, but I'll take it.
I will take it. I wouldn't
You have
say
gotten
no.
a phone.
That's a bit more expensive.
I'm like, wait, we haven't really had a chance with the phones. Maybe with the car. Nah, that's going to be even harder. But overall, 2 matches so far. I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing. We'll have to wait and see what's going to happen, as we are going to be going soon to an interview. We're going to go on a quick break and find out what some of these teams have to say.
A gente se preparou muito bem, a gente entende que não somos um time muito experiente, mas a gente é um time que vem para mostrar muita força da nossa região e a expectativa é muito boa. A gente espera chegar forte nas finais e o flex do time.
How do you adapt to the dynamic meta
এবং আপনাদের সাথে কিন্তু আমি রয়েছে মোহাইমিনুল, আমাদের সাথে রয়েছে আমাদের সবার প্রিয় চিয়ার।
This gameplay, giving the players the ultimate edge. This is the official gaming phone, built to outplay the rest. And while you're at it, don't forget to check out the new streams that we not only have just the map feed, we have some awesome myself too. Yeah, thanks. I hope you guys enjoy my mouth. There you go. Check them out because you definitely get some different stats, different action. And I am not gonna lie, I caught myself watching it yesterday. It was sweet. Yes, I.
I got the triple elimination medal. Marked a location. Awesome.
No, please, no. I'll keep my mouth shut. I promise.
me. Someone has been here. Awesome. Awesome. Search for vehicles. Vehicles. Victory belongs to us. We are number belongs to us. I got the Quadra Elimination Medal. I won my last match.
हिट
पूरा
सम्झना
तू त्यात
Please recall me. I'm recalling a teammate. Thanks. Please recall me. Help! Help! I'm recalling a teammate. Thanks. I need a stock. Watch out! Help! Please recall me. Help! I'm recalling a teammate. Thanks. Watch out! Watch out!
Help!
which adds a little bit of RNG to the mix. It's just sometimes a little bit hard to deal with it, but salvage mode, we've seen a lot of people do it, and I think this lobby is very efficient at, we know we're not going to win this game. Let's just frag out, or if you're a solo or duo, let's try and survive as much as possible, and that's how you're going to rack in consistent points, game in and game out.
Well, let's recap real quick with the schedule so far for today, because we are going to be heading into the final Erangel. And while we're looking at that schedule, I kind of want to, let's have a little bit of fun here, because we did see something fun during that match, and it was none other than Black Esports with the glider rotation, which some people like, some people don't like. How do you feel about it, Neptura?
I liked it. I thought it was a heads-up play that is risky. I will give you that. It is risky.
You know I'm going to be against it.
I know. 50-50 split right down the middle here. No, I think that it was actually quite nice because it left those two to scout ahead. It's notoriously a very difficult circle, difficult rotation. So they needed that scout. If it all went horribly wrong, yes, they lose 2 players, but they don't lose the game. The other duo on the mainland can actually figure something else out.
Yeah, I think you can kind of compare it to what Nepex did this game, which is sending a player ahead of the river. That's Boys 3, we send the entire team, which that I do like. But here you're sending 2 players in a glider.
True.
And you're just leaving your team 500, 600, 700, 800 meters behind you. There's no kind of support. There's no way for you to regroup. If one of your duos get involved in a fight, that's half your team gone. Phase 1 or Phase 2, your odds of a chicken dinner, way down. So it's a risky play, but they went for it. They did, unfortunately, not make it super far this game off the back of that.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Some people like it. Some people hate them. But you know what I do like? I like you guys giving me some teams to focus. So,
Thank you.
Max, I like you too, Max.
Thank you.
Yes. Going into the final Erangel, which teams are you going to be focusing on?
I want to see GOAT do well.
Yes.
I think they've showed potential macro-wise. Are we picking 3 teams each?
Yes.
Okay, so GOAT, I'm going to go Akacyber because I'm a very basic guy, and I'm going to support the team at the top. And I also want to see R8 still do better. So R8, keep on being on my teams to watch.
Okay. All right. Nepex, And, oh god, I'm blanking now. All of a
T2K?
sudden, no.
Ah,
Goat, that's the one. I remember the name. Goat.
Okay,
Yeah.
for me, it's going to be GOAT as well because I want to see if they can finally bounce back from a bit of a slump that they're having there. Nipex, I'm continuing on that train. And I got to support NA. Dope Esports. They were kind of playing it slow there towards the end. I want to see what's going to happen with this team. But those are the teams to watch. Any teams that you guys think might... We mentioned Ikert earlier, right?
Yes.
We mentioned how you had your coach hat on and you want them to start going for those placement points. Are we going to be seeing it here? I want you to predict it. I'm going to put you on the spot.
No.
No. Ooh.
No.
That's a great spot.
It's going to take a couple
great.
games to really get that mojo back. So not this game. Maybe next game, but not this game.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Something that I do want to do, Barth, if you're listening to me, is I want to include the casters as well. I want to talk to John, Allen, and Blank because, to be fair, we've been agreeing with a lot with the mustache man. Not me. This man right here.
Hey.
Blank. He's been doing great analysis during the game, and John has been doing great casting as well. Now, do you guys have any teams to focus in this one? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Probably Aki Cyber, definitely for obvious reasons. KZE, annoyingly KZE. I think that they have some decent rotates and the game plan is there. I think they get lost in the sauce sometimes.
Yep.
It's a real big problem. So I still want to back them. And let's say...
We have to choose 3 each?
Yep.
T2K. Let's say T2K.
That's fair.
Because what's going on with this team? We got to watch them very, very intently this match.
That's true. How about you, John? Sorry, I'm going to cut you off.
That's good.
I want to hear John's because I know you can go for days.
Yeah, that's true. And we'll have plenty of time to dive into it in the early game. I think Divergent, I'm interested in seeing if they can keep things going. They've had 2 second places so far. Is that, you know, by virtue, what's that by virtue of? Is it luck? Is it skill? I'm leaning towards skill. I think that they've had some really solid players yesterday and in towards today as well. They seem to have been able to keep up that competition. And I think I would probably agree with T2K,
going,
time to kill as well. I think that they've got world-class players on that roster, and we haven't quite seen that so far. I'm also I had someone else lined up, and
You can think about it.
I've completely blanked on which team
You can think about it. You know what? Something that Max and I didn't agree with throughout that match, especially in the tour as well, was KCE with what they were able to do there at the beginning. And you know what? As we're going to be going into the game, I want to remind you as well, because I know you felt a certain way about it, Blank.
I did feel a very certain way. I hated it. I'll put it that way. I hated it. Again, they had such a strong start to that game, and they had
it was
a
trash.
very, very simple callback towards Sosnovka military base. And that should have been the place they went, because that was their playing ground. And they had it from the beginning. On the other hand, on your own kind of playing ground, you can make one yourself. Custom fun, as always, in World of Wonder. You can also visit the Pmgo venue with World of Wonder 2. So exciting stuff. I'm sure it's going to pop up here at some point. There it is.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Got the map code as well. I'll say it one more time.
Go on then.
For you folks at home.
Lovely.
It's 12123503. One more time. 12123503.
Type that one in and you can visit the PMGO venue. A recreation of what we have here in Tashkent in Uzbekistan, where we are holding the 2025 PMGO. It has been fantastic being here. We've absolutely loved it so far, and I'm sure we will continue to do so, as have the home ground teams. Currently, 1st and 2nd place in the tables, right? It's been a great result so far for them. Let's see if they can keep things going as we enter our final Erangel of the day.
Yeah, again, it is pretty impressive the Uzbekistan teams have done this well so far. And it is nice to see. You can definitely tell that there is home ground advantage here in esports, where if you have the crowd backing you, if it is your country as well, like, it really does add that extra up to you. And I think it's given the confidence for Aki Cyber to make some of these plays. But again, I think beforehand, my critical analysis of them was that they were maybe a little bit too aggressive. It's not the case. It really felt like that there was some definite discipline towards the end of those games that we'd not seen from them before. But that is a nice alteration to see from Aki Cyber.
Heading into this game fairly soon. All of the teams seem to be locked and loaded into the lobby. Playing path soon to be ready for us. You can see there. I believe that's Train to Kill, looking to try and pick up the pieces of their prior games, yet to really have the impact that we want from them. We have seen them make some solid choices, but so far has not converted just yet. GOAT quality that, of course, Natura's looking at over the course of this game. She said she wanted to see if they can... Oh, it was Natura, right? Said he wanted to see the recovery, see if they can get out of that sort of dip that they've seemed to have been having over the last few games. Seven also said he wanted to see that recovery coming on through, and we'll be heading in fairly shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be heading into the game pretty quickly. Sorry for the delay, guys. We do, in fact, though, have an interview coming up in just a couple of moments. In fact, I'm pretty sure quite short moments. But it will be with Fenerbahce. I'm going to see how they're faring currently in the PMGO prelims.
Fenerbahçe olarak 2021'de bir başarı sağlanmıştı ama o kadro farklıydı tabii ki de. Biz buraya yani PMSA'dan farklı bir ekip olarak çıktık. Yani hedefimiz final oynayıp finalde ilk 5'e girmek. Bu şekilde devam edeceğiz. Herkese merhaba, ben Sevyen. Fenerbahçe Sports takımında Fragger olarak oynuyorum.
What does it mean for the team to reach the main event stage and perform against the best of the best around the world?
Yani gerçekten dünyanın en iyilerine karşı oynamak çok iyi hissettirecek. Onlardan aşağı kalır bir yanımız olduğunu düşünmüyorum. Onlara karşı yani fightlarda zorlanmayız ama yer alma konusunda biraz zorlanacağımızı düşünüyorum. Onun dışında bir sorun yok.
Who is the X factor for your team whose performance you are dependent on?
Bu soruya kendim demek istiyorum. Çünkü hem co-IGL'lik yapacağım bu turnuvada hem de yani yaptığım ekstralarla iyi işler başardığımı düşünüyorum. Yani takımı ipten alabiliyorum, fazla adam vurabiliyorum, yer aldırabiliyorum. Bu yüzden bu soruya kendim diyeceğim.
Which team do you think is your biggest threat in the prelims?
وفريق 4 ام في بخصوص دوب صراحة أتابعهم كثير عشان أتعلم منهم. شكرا يا جماعة للمتابعة وللدعم، تحيات لكم ولا تنسوا تتابعونا واعطونا لايك.
There you go, a lot of lovely information from what our players are thinking about, what's going through their heads. A little expose there with iCurd, able to dish out all that juicy information. Lovely stuff.
It's what you want to see. I mean, to be fair, what's really nice from watching these team interviews is that there's some real admiration for some of the greats in PUBG Mobile, which is cool to see, and supportive of their own regions as well. So you know that these guys are very much invested within the scene too. But we won't be heading into the match shortly. Slight technical delays happening at the moment, but we're going to try and get in as soon as possible.
Well, like this. I haven't really paid too much attention to it, but you can see on the stage the total points next to each of the teams, as you can see where they're standing, making sure that everybody in the audience is up to date with where their favorite team is currently faring on the overalls. It's nice to see. I'm loving the utilization of the arena that we've been having so far. We've got these side screens. You guys can't really see that too well at home. We've got some excellent screens along the side of everything going on. It has been done up to the nines, as they say, Blank. It's been great to be here so far. We're loving it. We're loving it, and we will continue to do so as we go into the next game. But we have to go to a short break to make sure that everybody is loaded in, ready to go. We'll see you guys in a few seconds.
With PUBG Mobile, there's a big impact on my life because I have a very busy work life and life outside of PUBG Mobile. I work as a police officer, so a lot of my days I'm not able to attend and play the games, but I still have a love and passion for the game. So I sacrifice a lot of time outside just to make it work, and every time I play, I just give it 100%. Hello, my name is Baby Tang. I play for Dope Esports. I'm the in-game leader, and I represent the North American region.
What was the feeling in the team once you guys realized that your team has qualified for the prelims?
So I think the feeling was kind of unreal for the team. There's definitely a lot of excitement, not just to play our first global LAN event, but also to meet everyone in person. Obviously, we haven't met each other before, so I guess that was the biggest excitement for the team.
Every region comes with a different playstyle. How are you going to tackle that?
I think the best way for us to deal with the other region's playstyle is actually just focus on what we're best at. Not worry too much about what teams are doing and how teams play, but focus on how we play the best and use that to our advantage.
What would it mean for the team to lift the PMGO trophy?
I think, again, the feeling's gonna be unreal if we do lift that trophy. For all of us, it's probably just gonna be a dream come true, right? All the hard work, all those hours played, all put together for that result.
Which main event team do you admire the most?
I think I have two main event teams that are really good. Firstly is Pmgo, for Miracle Vibes. I think they're a great team, and with their new roster with like 2-3 PMGC MVPs, I think they're just a team to admire, and they have a lot of players that I think everyone looks up to. And number two would be NGX, Enigma Galaxy. They were a newer team last year, and they performed very well at the global stage in such a short amount of time of being a team. So I think it was very inspiring for new teams and up-and-coming teams that are trying to make it in the global stage as well. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and thank you for supporting, and we'll see you in the next one.
Actually, being humble, we weren't the regional champions. We came run-up. Our champion was ATR, but due to some issues, we were regional champion and we came in. It's an honor to represent my country, Nepal, in this global stage. Like, it's every player's dream to represent their country. Hey guys, this is Mukesh from Nepex Esports Nepal. I play support in my team.
Do you think NEPX has what it takes to gain the fan base that has already been behind the other popular teams from Nepal?
Definitely, every team got every chances to achieve more fan base, but it all takes is their gameplay. So I believe in my team, and we got gameplay to achieve more fan base and support. Every team plays to be champion at every tournament or every global stage. So it's an honor because Nepal never got #1 in global stage, but DRS Gaming came close with being runner-up. So being humble, I would definitely try to achieve #1, but I don't want to talk about this anymore because mouth shut, but gameplay on.
One team that NEPX considers as the most formidable threat in the 2025 PMGO prelims, and why?
The team which we fears the most is the one we look in the mirror. But with respect, I want to say my TTK boys, our friends from Nepal, they've been a good team and wish to compete them in prelims.
Which invited team are you most excited to play against in the main event of 2025 PMGO, and why?
I'm excited to play with every invited teams in the final, but with respect, I want to say is for MV because they got 2 PMGC finals MVP, Joel and Top, so they are actually all-star team. So it will be cherry on top if we defeat 4MB and take the trophy home. Nepali supporters र audienceहरुलाई एकदमै थ्याङ्कफुल भन्न चाहन्छु हजुरहरुको माया साथ सपोर्टले नै एकदमै मोटिभेट गरेर हामी ग्लोबल स्टेज खेल्दै छौं। गेमको बारेमा म केही धेरै अहिले त्यस्तो केही भन्दिन, तर जे देख्छ हजुरहरुले गेममै देख्नुहुन्छ। थ्यांक यू फर सपोर्टिङ अस, जय नेपाल।
And hopefully we are ready to get into our third and final Erangel of the day here at the PUBG Mobile Global Open Prelims, where we've had a day of action prior to this for the Uzbek finals, and it seems like they're carrying that power over into today. Top two on the tables, both with the home ground advantage.
Yeah, admin's crashed the server.
That's true.
That's what he's done.
Ah, there must be.
That's the only explanation I can come up with. But yeah, we're waiting to get into our fourth and final Erangel match.
Fourth match,
fourth
third
match, last Erangel of the day. Said that with such conviction as well, I almost believe myself.
I love it. I'm ready. I'll believe you if you say things like that.
I know you will. I had to pause and stop. It was It was essential.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be heading back into game.
He's got so much water. Look at him. Oh no, we got a bottle down. I blame that on the passer.
Bottle down?
A bottle down. Yeah, I was talking about what was on the cameras.
Damn, bottle down. That's not good. No one wants that.
Hey, we've got to make sure all the players are staying hydrated out here.
Get a savior mission on for that water bottle.
It's all right, he picked it up.
Yeah, good, good. But we're waiting to get into the match at the moment. We've got all of our lovely teams on screen for you right now, who are all similarly waiting to jump in to their last Erangel of the day. Overall, it's been an interesting day, and I think a day with far more mistakes in it than the qualifiers. And I think that's because everyone's trying to make the right play of what is categorically the right play in their minds. Because that last game, it was all about we need to hold people out on the edge. but that's the only thing that people got into their heads there. And again, I think that when you look at global tournaments, you have this case of you'll have teams that play more edge style, then you have teams that want to go towards the center. Everyone here is looking to just play edge a lot of times, which caused this mass migration where one team will go center because like, well, no one's playing there.
Yeah.
In this case, Aki Cyber and Dope. And everyone has to follow suit. But by that point, you've been decimated out on the sidelines because it gets a real chock-a-block out there.
Certainly does, and it is pretty tricky to be able to pick up those points when you need them. And some of the best teams in the world, the main quality that they display is flexibility, right? That ability to change what they're doing on a dime, for everybody to do that cohesively on the roster and to be able to execute that strategy well. It is a real tall order. It sounds easy, but doing it in this sort of a situation is nigh on impossible, and that is how champions are made. So we'll see if anyone's able to progress to that point. Playing path heavily on the south side again, Blank.
Yeah, this is far, far down. And again, last game, that didn't really matter all that much considering our circle that came through, which was benefiting so many of those teams because it was towards Sosnovka. And it was a pretty confident Sosnovka circle as well. I think most teams realized that early enough, though I did expect more teams to be just rotating fast through onto Sosnovka. And I think it was that early game hesitation that led to a lot of those outside approaches where everyone was stuck on the edge. This time around, though, we'll wait for the circle, we'll see where it pops, and we'll go from there.
KZ alone and isolated. We're on board with Aki Cyber on the POV. Southwest side, R8 pretty close by, but it looks like they go for a longer drop up the west coast as the plane finishes its progress over the islands. And we are going northwest, so no military circle this time around. Now, this is where that south cramped up situation does start to get a little bit more tense. You are going to be fighting over vehicles in various different locations. You know that there's going to be a little bit more conflict, so we'll see how teams handle that.
Yeah, all the way towards that northwest side is difficult for a lot of squads because you're going to have to get rotations on early. Go one of the first ones to start making that rotate as well. It's a question of whether you want to head over towards the north side of the map too, because this is really undetermined, to be honest, where it's going to end up, either on the south side of the river or on the north. But most teams should know that, you know, for instance, North George probably open, shooting range, Severny, northeast side of Kameshki, if you want to make a wrap over towards that north side, come back in through Yasnaya. It is pretty much just a smash grab situation of whatever kind of compounds that you can get your hands on at this point.
There's a team that we haven't really talked a little bit about so far from the start of this game that has maybe this game to prove themselves moving forwards. That is R8. They have had the inside track up to the west coast side here. With this circle, they can lay claim to Georgia Pole in a way that other teams couldn't really. They were fast up on the west coast, and the circle has gifted them the opportunity to have a good shot into this one. Now, they are towards the bottom of the table. It's not what we expected coming into this tournament, but now they have the opportunity to put up a little bit of a scoreline, and they need to start doing that now because time is running out.
Yeah, buffers are being set, realistically, at this point in time. The teams are looking to hold on to those strong positions. I thought that that was a bounce back, but it was not. It's a great initial start there over towards...
Just for Nepex, the 721 aggressors convincingly handling that fight, and Nepex tumble.
great news for the 721 aggressors. Again, that is currently, we're looking at, what is that? 3 Uzbekistan teams technically qualify through if we ended things right now.
That's true. Only Upgrade bringing up the rear.
Yeah, literally. 3 out of the 4. Fantastic stuff. Incredible stuff, in fact. So I think for Uzbekistan, they should be very proud of their players and their teams. Go on the rotate, they head over towards box compound. Not a bad stopping place in my opinion.
Rotate.
It is a go-take right there. And I think that for a lot of the squads around that area looking out towards them, it's a perfect opportunity to get some good scouting done early because a lot of people aren't situated just yet. They are not in position. So Go has definitely the lay of the land.
I would agree. They have managed to get into a decent spot now, and there is still some aggravation over towards the ruins left in their wake. And Exotics battling back and forth with action. Nobody. The second nobody in this lobby, rather confusingly.
Yeah, there's a nobody on Fenerbahce as well, who is nobody X77K. That's the delineator.
Yeah, that is how you tell them apart. They're on different teams. Generally. Either way, the same name. It's confusing. Did nobody talk about it?
I don't think anybody did.
That's right. Anyway, back into this one. Action have laid claim to the top of the hill here over ruins. They're going to be controlling those crossings. But it looks like a lot of teams have actually already gone north of them or have access to different rotational paths. So I don't know what sort of value Action are actually going to get out of this location.
Yeah, Action definitely going to struggle, I would say. I could similarly on a late rotate as our KZE, but we're taking anything from that last game is that they are pretty hesitant to make too many moves. It's very, very stuck in place gameplay at the moment. Exotics losing Daniel. Getting flashbacks to Sandhawk here.
Exotics taking a lot of damage onto Roy, but able to keep them up. Dope on the full surround here, outside of the Sunken City. Baby Tank doesn't want to surround anymore. He wants to go straight on in. An interface against nobody with a nade in hand. You've got Pretam moving up to the high ground to try and curtail this aggression. And an off angle spotted by nobody. Launches the nade and Baby Tank goes down. Roy with the spray down towards Payne gets that flush almost immediately. And another pickup from Pretam. This is a brilliant hold coming through from Exotics. We thought it may be going pear-shaped for them when they lost Daniel, but it's all the sweeter for them when they find that victory on the fight. They turn Manbay around, but is he going to be able to get away just about behind the headland?
Yeah, I think that realistically, when you're looking at this fight, not sure exactly why Dope went for this one in the first place. Right, it's very early into the match. I don't think you possibly have to go for this engagement versus Exotics. And Dope just pushes their luck a little bit too much. And are forced to turn tail here. Heading over towards that eastern side, towards Divergent. On the western side of Yes9.
Ikerd involved now with the 721 aggressor, and Jonik, yeah, there's not really anything you can do there. 3 angles that you have to face off against. Wasn't able to isolate a fight, unfortunately, and that is very likely to be a flush. However, Ikerd have got aggressor bearing down upon them. A nice Molotov over the top could catch 1 or 2 of them slipping, and will in fact find the flush. Looking for Butcher as well on the off angle. The blue zone won't take it down. It's only stage 1, and look at this pressure that they've been able to rally around their down player. A brilliant result. Ali falls next. Aggressor rolls around to the top of the mound and gets the work done, but it's still 1 player left to go. And he will find the knock, almost looking for the flush too. 1 versus 2 now for Ikerd.
A great shot there from AZ, but it's all come crumbling down around them. 721 aggressors definitely getting aggressive here. Nate goes up, and AZ's forced into an awkward scenario. Very good distraction. The bait and switch comes through. And 721 aggressors up to 8 eliminations in the first 9 minutes.
Let's talk about the circle now, Blank. It has popped and it's going to go over towards Pachinki, which means the Action's presence on the overlook towards those ruins is going to be a little bit stronger. Those teams that committed up towards the north now going to have to go back down south. They're going to have to go past that, but it looks like Action are going to try and get ahead of the game. They're not going to make the same mistake that KZE made in the last match and try and stay on this edge guard for too long.
It's necessary, very necessary. Again, around Pachinki here, a lot of teams passed by this location, get around it. There's Roy, some good shots. Well, it's Ali. Really good player is Ali, actually. Very impressive. K21 moving in from that northeast side now from Yasnaya. Inside the blue at the moment. This is where I want to see Fenerbahce succeed, right? From inside Pachinki. And some good rotates in the past, it's just always fallen fairly short.
Exotics with Black Esports close by. You can see Fenerbahce off in the distance as well, further out and away. Taking a look at this fight, getting their noses involved and merciless. You can see shots actually ringing out across the map towards them, and from Savin in the back lines. This is going to slow the approach from Exotics, allow the res actually to come through. But this nade from Roy might be good. Doesn't quite connect. Not just yet. Another nade into the top floor there. And all the while, the rest of these teams are moving in past them. This is a very central area, Blank. It would be great to find an opening and a trade 1-for-1 on these knocks. These nades finally connecting. Symphony very, very low. Roy pushes up to look for the res on the pre-town. Nobody wants to play on the high ground on the rock behind and looks for spray. It looks good over towards Symphony. A lot of damage done. Oh dear! He's taken himself out there. The nade dropped at his feet. And that's a team wipe from himself. Ozzy with a massive misplay.
Yeah, that's bad. That's very, very bad. And he was looking even worse for Exotics on the outside as some off angles started to come through, and now they get to take up residence in this building shortly afterwards. Fenerbahce actually opting to send up that way. I think they were the ones taking those off angle shots, so good opportunity taken from them, which is great. But the circle does move up towards that northeast side, so Fenerbahce actually leave Pachinki at a fairly decent timing.
Yeah, they're moving at a fair lick as well. Nicely done. Shuffle goes on in. K21 fairly uncontested on this southeast side near Potato Hill. Could change if the 721 aggressors want to try and take their route up there. I'm also looking at R8 Blank. This is another team. They pushed up to the west side of Pachinki. I liked their rotate. But now they have a little bit of a test for them, right? They have to push in towards Fenerbahce's territory, try and find their way through. Because at the moment, the compound that Exotics were fighting over, that little small settlement that's just to the northeast side of Pachinki, is really impactful here, as are the hills to its south.
Yeah, I think the difficulty for R8 is they've not really won a single engagement so far. A lot of their points come from placements alone,
I believe.
But it's not like they don't have incredible players on the team. It is frustrating because I've seen all of those players pop off massively in the past.
You know how you could see them pop off massively in the future? On our vertical stream, Blank, which you can see over on our YouTube and TikTok channels, PUBG Mobile Esports, where you can see not only the main feed, but also the map, the stats, the player cams as well, if you want to keep track of what your favorite players are, how they're reacting, things like that. Of course, you can do. And if you just want to have the map feed separate, then you can head over to as well and pull up PUBG Mobile Esports, where you can see what all of our teams are doing at every single second of every single match here at the PMGO on our designated map feed. That's right, you can get all the analysis done, all the facts, all the figures on those two resources.
So make sure you check them both out, because again, a lot of work went over towards that vertical map feed. And it comes to tracking stats whilst the game goes on, something you should quickly pull up, check the ongoings of the game. Aki Cyber, though, currently over towards that northwest side of this circle. I do like this position. Requires decent aiming, but we know that Aki Cyber does have that. Unfortunately, Merciless just a little bit cleaner with it, apparently, from Fenerbahce, finding one shot over towards them.
Nicely done. On the north side of Fenerbahce's position, they got GOAT quality, trying to push past that sunken city position. Try and get involved in those headshot hills, those open areas that sit to the north of the compounds that Fenerbahce hold. Actually, a knock found over towards Fenerbahce, so maybe a little bit of an opening, as well as R8 chiming in on the southwest side over towards Action as they try and leave Pachinki.
Next circle about to pop into stage 4. typically where we can start to figure out where this is going to end. Aki Cyber does get the circle shift on this one. They're fairly central. They have been taking some couple of shots out so far. So position is known, which is the awkward part, but they're one of the few teams with relatively decent cover towards the center here.
I mean, this is such a treacherous final circle area, Blank. The openness of this zone is unparalleled, I would say, as RA in with a scrap, a chance to prove themselves as the last player from action in both of these fights, starting to get shredded apart.
Marth doing his best here versus action. Gillisu in play, but not really hiding you all too much inside this building. It's a back and forth right now, and it is from the side angle that Nusi is taken down.
RA are 3 players strong, and they have managed to conclude that fight. Fenerbahce, maybe if they'd have been about 5 seconds quicker, they could have found a side angle onto that fight. But now they'll have to try and re-engage in a 4 versus 3. But Merciless is down. That is all the way off in the distance, actually. They might want to try and regroup onto this, and yeah, you could see Simple, Domac moving on back, and I don't think they're going to try and press the issue against RA. They're trying to recoalesce, keep all 4 of themselves alive, and I think that's the right decision.
Yeah, no matter what happens going forward right now, you get your teammate up and alive so no one else crashes.